I'm officially reading my first cowboy romance. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today is a super exciting video because I am finally starting the Chestnut Springs series. I have never in my life read a cowboy romance. I don't know why. I just had no interest in it until about a month ago, maybe. I randomly decided I need to read a cowboy romance. I don't know where the idea came from. I don't know what consumed me and made me feel like I need to read one. But since then, it's been about a month, and I have not been able to stop thinking about how fun it's going to be to read my first cowboy romance. So, of course, when I had that thought, my first idea was to go on TikTok and ask for cowboy romance recommendations. And a majority of the comments were recommending Elsie Silver and the Chestnut Springs series. I have seen this series in a lot of different places. A lot of my favorite booktubers, book talkers have read this series and enjoyed it. So I have a feeling I'll enjoy it, but I would never have picked this up on my own. This cover just doesn't really speak to me. And yes, I do judge books by the cover. If you don't, you're just lying. I don't believe you. But I have seen the old covers, and those ones I actually probably would have picked up. So maybe it's just this one specifically. But either way, that doesn't matter. I'm super excited to read this book. I think it's going to be such a good time. And I am going to be recording all of my reactions, all of my thoughts. This video is going to be full spoiler. So if you haven't read these books, maybe don't watch this vlog. But I have other videos up on my channel that I think are pretty good. So you should go watch those. And then come back to this vlog after you've read these and share your thoughts with me because I'll be sharing mine with you. Anyways, my first thoughts on this book, which I have not started it, but I love how large this font is. And then also look at these stars. That's so cute. Anyways, I have no idea what these are about. I think there's like a single dad trope, and then I just know they're cowboy romances. And that's literally it. So I'm really excited to get into it. I'm going to start reading this probably later tonight. I don't actually have time right now, but tonight I'm going to get into these and I'll share all of my thoughts with you. It's time. So I didn't even read the description for this book, and I'm confused. And I think maybe I need to read that. Okay, so I guess he is talking to the agent's daughter, and he's not supposed to. But why is his son watching? I'm so confused. I worked my ass off for years to get this country bumpkin sponsorship. This is funny. Okay. She already has a crush on him. I think there's a little bit of forced proximity going on, so that's fun. The drama is that he doesn't like milk. That's what they were asking for an apology for. Guys, what am I reading? I didn't know this was in Canada though, and that makes it a little bit weird. I feel like it's hard for me to picture like a Canadian accent and then find that attractive. I don't know. Why do they care so much? Why do they care so much that he doesn't like milk? The dad seems so sweet. I like that. I feel like there's gonna be like a really big found family aspect in this book, which I guess makes sense because the other books are probably the other brothers, maybe? I don't know. So far this is really good. I'm only on chapter 4, but it just seems really cute and I'm just like so eager to see them actually interact. So far they've only interacted a little bit at the meeting with her dad. But yeah, I really like the dad. I'm excited to meet the brothers and I'm excited to see them actually really interact. Also, I'm not really sure why I thought it was a single dad trope. I think I heard that that's like what Elsie Silver is best at, or what she does all the time, but I don't think this one is single father. Oh, it's the brother, the divorced brother, Cade. Cade has a son and he's divorced, so that's probably gonna be the next book or one of the books. That's probably why I thought it was single father trope.
I have a feeling that's gonna change real soon.
Guys, I'm loving this little found family. Well, it's not found family if they're family. I'm loving this little family dynamic and I really like Beau. And he only showed up in one chapter so far, but he's so sweet. I'm excited I'm assuming he gets a book. I hope he gets a book. And I'm excited for whatever book that is, because he just sounds like the golden retriever brother and I'm excited to see him. I'm taking a star off of my rating already, because why does it say "not today, Satan" in a book? In an adult book? No, don't do that. Like, what? I hope there's not a lot of these in this book, or that's definitely gonna lower the rating for sure. I don't like that. That's actually one of my biggest book icks, is like TikTok sayings. Okay, I'm kind of annoyed. I might have to take a break. To be honest, I'm not liking Rhett. There, I said it. No, I'm just kidding. Well, no, I'm not kidding. He's just like a crybaby and he's making a big deal out of everything. Like, she laughs and he's like, "Am I a big joke to you?" Like, why is he so insecure and like dramatic? Like, okay, I get it. You don't like having a babysitter. You're a grown man. Why would you want a babysitter? Yeah, I get it. Stop acting like a kid then. I thought I would like this book a lot, and I was expecting like big masculine man energy, and then you get like the vulnerability and it's like, ooh, but the vulnerability we're getting is like overpowering the masculinity. And also, I just don't even feel like it's vulnerability. I feel like it's just crybaby. I don't like that. I wanted, when I was like, oh, I want a cowboy romance, I wanted like, like Southern charm. And they're in Canada, so it's not giving Southern anyways, but I think you know what I mean. I mean, he's doing a little bit of it, like he's polite, he's, opening the doors for her and standing on the right side of the road and stuff like that, and I like that. I feel like it's just not adding up with what I was expecting. And I also think it might just be him, because I think the brothers might give a better cowboy romance love interest. I think I just don't like Rhett. And maybe that'll change. Right now, I'm almost 100 pages in, and I'm not loving it. I'm not loving him. I think Summer is cool. I think there's more to her, and I'm excited to see that, but right now she's just a little bit boring. Like, her personality is snarky and cute, and like that's like really it. Like, I want to see more of her problem solving. I want to see her being smart. I want to see her being, I mean, she's like been a little bit vulnerable, but I guess I just want to know more about her. And I want Rhett to stop being a crybaby. Why can't she make jokes about the fact, why can't she laugh at the fact that the world hates him because he doesn't like milk? Like, that's a perfectly normal thing to joke about. And then she jokes about it, and he's like, what, am I a big joke to you? You're acting like one. You're acting like a joke. Okay, I'm done. I don't like Rhett right now. I'm hoping that changes, but right now he's really bothering me. I am extremely confused why everyone loves this book. I'm only a quarter of the way through, but it just seems like the attraction is all physical. Like, he knows nothing about her. He isn't trying to get to know anything about her. He is just like physically attracted to her. Like, it's just so lustful. In my opinion, it's a little bit early for that, one. But two, I just don't like when that's how the relationship starts and that's all that he seems to care about. I don't know. Like, how do you just go from hating her, wanting nothing to do with her, trying to avoid her, trying to act like she doesn't exist, and then the alternative is just to be like obsessed with her in a sexual way? And there was never a in between. There was never a getting to know her or enjoying her company. It just went straight to wanting to have sex with her, basically. And then still, my complaint about Summer still is there. I just don't even feel like I know her. I don't know who she is. Okay, she likes to work out. She had a surgery when she was younger, which they haven't explained anything about. And she's a little bit snarky. Like, that's her personality, and that's it. I don't know. I need to really give it a chance and just keep reading, I guess, but right now I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm not kicking my feet. I'm not giggling. I'm not anything. I'm just bored. I started reading this on my Kindle last night, as you saw, and honestly, my mind is changing a little bit. I got to about the halfway point, and the sharing a bed scene kind of did it for me. I feel like they're growing more of a real connection than just a lust based connection. And I do like that. I have to say, though, I just don't like Rhett. I mean, like, I'm 50% of the way through. I think I can say that I don't like him. But he's not the kind of male main character that I can enjoy because he's not someone I would ever be attracted to. Like, right off the bat, all of the crybaby stuff, I'm out. I'm done. I don't want anything to do with that. I want you to be able to take a joke and handle a joke. And then the thing is, like, he's dishing out all these jokes at her. He can pick on her, he can make fun of her, but she can't do it back. I don't like that. That's kind of where I'm at. The bed scene was really cute. I started to like them more as a couple. I think that Summer is getting a little bit more interesting. Her ex situation with her doctor is very interesting, and I do like how Rhett stood up for her and protected her with his sister, with her sister, and with the ex. So yeah, there are a lot of parts of this book that I'm really starting to like. I do like how fast paced it is. I read half the book yesterday, and there's about 3 hours and a half left. So I'm not a fast reader, and that's pretty fast to be able to get through a book. So I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna probably finish this tonight. I guess we'll see what my thoughts are at the end. They're starting to grow on me as a couple, but as individuals, I don't like Rhett. That's what I have to say. I do like Bo. I'm excited to see his book. I hope he has a book. And then I'm assuming, so basically, I'm just assuming all of the brothers are getting a book. I really, truly know nothing about this series. I went into this fully blind. I started reading and realized I didn't know what was going on, and then I had to read the description. So I'm not lying when I say I have no idea what's going on, just based on my past experience with interconnected romance books. It's usually like the brothers or the friend group, they all have a story. And I'm assuming all of the brothers get a story since they're all single. I'm excited for Bose because he seems just very adorable and happy and friendly. And I'm also excited for Cade's because single dad, grumpy. I'm hoping that's like a grumpy sunshine little moment. I'm assuming it is. That's kind of what it's going to give. And also, I think there's like 5 books in the series, so I'm hoping Jasper gets a book. Don't know why. I just liked him from that little bar moment. That seemed interesting. He seemed interesting, like a very reserved, quiet guy, and I love that in a guy. So I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for the rest of the series, but I kind of just want to get through this book. And maybe that's bad. I don't know what other people think about this book or about this series. Like, I don't know if this is like one of those ACOTAR moments where you just have to get through the first book. Yeah, those are my thoughts. They're growing on me a little bit. She seems a lot more interesting, and I don't like Rhett. That's all. Okay, I didn't record me finishing this book, but I did finish Flawless last night. My opinions haven't changed. It's still just average. I didn't love Rhett. I almost am confused why this series is so popular. I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt because when I see people talking about this series, I don't really see anyone talking about Rhett. So I'm assuming this book isn't like the main reason people love this series. I will say it definitely wasn't bad enough that I wouldn't want to continue. Definitely do want to continue. By the way, I gave this book 3 stars. I think that's fair. It was very average. It was entertaining and fast paced. I finished it in 2 days. Yeah, it was just average. Some things I really hated was Rhett. Period. I don't like Rhett. Summer was okay. I think Summer was just too eager to sleep with him that it clouded her judgment in a lot of ways. And I say sleep with him because I don't feel like they had a deep connection. I feel like their connection was mostly just based off of lust and wanting to sleep together. Whenever it was his point of view and he talked about her, he almost always started every thought with something about her body, her looks, her lips. Like, it was never about who she was as a person. It was never about the connection they have. It was never about how kind or smart or interesting she was. It almost always started with her lips or the way those jeans fit her or just stupid things like that. And I don't have a problem with that. Like, of course, I want the male main character to be obsessed with the way she looks. Of course, I want them to lust after them. But I feel like that should come second to a genuine connection or like finding her interesting or smart or kind. And I just didn't get those vibes at all. Like, that would come up. Of course, he would think about how smart she was or interesting she was, but it was never the first thing. It was never the main thing. And I just really didn't enjoy that. On top of that, he was such a horrible person that I'm starting to think this book is at 3 stars. No, okay. There were parts of this that I really enjoyed. I did think by the end they were very cute together. I did like watching them like slowly start to hint at these connections while they're trying not to. I do think that they, by the end, had a genuine connection. I wouldn't say it was just completely lustful, but that's the main thing that I didn't like. And then another thing I didn't like was the fact that Summer told him her secrets, her private information, traumatic information, and he just acts like a child and goes and loses his mind and punches this guy in his face, shares her secrets with the entire freaking waiting room, everyone around them, her dad, her sister, like everything. And she forgives him for it. And I just don't agree with that. I wouldn't have forgave him for that. That was too far, so immature. Like, I get it, you're protective over her. And I liked his protectiveness over her. I thought that was very cute until that scene. Like, that was too far. That was not okay. And in real life, that wouldn't just, like, you wouldn't just accept that and move on. In real life, that's a deal breaker. She told you something in confidence and you acted like a child and didn't think about her or how the consequences would affect her at all. So yeah, I'm not a fan of Rhett. I think Summer was very interesting and cute. I think Summer was interesting. I liked Summer's character. I just wish she wasn't so eager to be with him that she had like a misguided judgment. I don't like that she was saying or thinking things like, oh, well, I have had so bad that I would know what bad is. Like, no, if anything, having such a bad relationship previously would make you think that the bare minimum is enough. And I think that's what happened here. I think her judgment was very clouded when it came to Rhett. And another thing I didn't like is him calling her princess because her dad calls her that. And then slowly that turned into like a term of endearment, which was okay, cute. Using it during sex, that's her dad's nickname for her. That's weird. I'm sorry, but that's weird. I'm sorry, I hated that. I literally hated that so much. Anyways, moving on. I am going to read the next book. I hope it's about Cade. I think that's what it was about. Yeah, I think the next book is about Cade. I'm excited for that. That's going to give probably Grumpy Sunshine, I hope. I'm looking forward to the next book. Probably going to start it on my Kindle, but we're definitely going to have a bookstore trip in this video because I do have to go pick up the other books. And I know I don't have to. They're on Kindle Unlimited, but I want them. They're my trophies. So I'll see you later, either when we're reading or picking up another book. Okay, so I just got home. I just got Heartless, and first of all, I hate this sticker. And Target has the stickers that like are impossible to get off. So I'll be working on that. Oh, look, the little hearts. So far, my favorite thing about these Elsie Silver books are they're just very cute. And I'm hoping this one has the large print. Yeah, large print, hearts, and it's Cade, which is exciting. Come here, Coda. I'm excited. It's gonna be grumpy old man, I think, are the vibes. I'm excited to get into this. I'll probably start it tonight on my Kindle, or in the morning I'll pick this up. So we'll see, and I'll update you on any of my thoughts. I'm sorry, this is so funny. You, he says, you, dropped your panties, ma'am. Oh, this she says it's gonna be a good story to tell her kids one day, which is funny because she said that in Flawless to Summer about something. I don't remember what, but that's cute. Guys, I can't lie, that was a really cute meet cute, to be honest. Chapter 2. This book is already so much better than the last one. I'm literally sitting here giggling at these interactions. I think I'm gonna love this book, if I'm being honest. Cade is so grumpy, and I love that. Hey guys, I have not given an update in like, look at Cody. I haven't given an update in like over a week. Maybe it has been a week, or like a day less than a week. Also, this is water for my hair. I'm not lactating or anything. I'm sorry. Okay. So I haven't given an update in like a week because I'm the worst wannabe booktuber ever, but also because that's how long it took me to finish this book. I don't know what got into me. It's not even that long, or it's a little long. It's like 400 and something pages. But either way, I read this book in 2 days, and this one took me a week. So I don't know what's up with that. I think I'm in a little bit of a book slump because I loved this book. This was a great book, and it still took me forever to get through. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I love Willa, and I also really love Cade. I think he's just a very complex character, and I also just really loved the grumpy thing he had going on, especially when he opened up to Willa and was like himself with Willa. I love those little internal monologues where he has a grumpy face, but he's like actually so happy to be interacting with her or talking to her. I love that so much. And I also just really loved how he was just so capable of everything. I think there's literally a quote in here about how capable he is and how Will is attracted to that. And I get that because me too. I gave this 4 stars mostly because I just didn't love the ending. I think I would have preferred if they had a more organic way of coming together rather than the baby trope, which I do think that was like a good thing to put in there. Like it made sense for them. It just wasn't my favorite. And I still think it was organic. I do think that they like really did that in a different way, especially with Willa telling him to like think about it and really consider his options. But I would have rather there have been like a scene where Willa just chooses to stay on her own, or Cade asks her to stay on his own, and not that having something to do with a baby, if that makes sense. But yeah, overall, I really love this book. I loved the carrot scene. I still don't get that. That was so funny. I highlighted it in my Kindle. Like, what the fuck? A carrot just coming out of her bag, and then she just throws it in the back like nothing happened, and then that's all he cares about. That is so realistic. Not realistic. It's so realistic that that's all he cared about, because what? A carrot? Overall, I really love this book, and I also have to say, this book made me like Rhett a lot more than I did while I was reading Flawless. The scene where he was talking to Cade about he doesn't tell Summer what to do and he likes women like that or something, that was cute. I liked that. So far, really enjoying the series. Like I've said multiple times, this isn't my favorite, but this was really good, and I'm the worst booktuber ever. So I finished this yesterday and immediately started, what is it called? Powerless? I think it's Powerless. Yeah, I immediately started Powerless. I only got like 3 chapters in, so don't get mad at me, okay? I still have to go pick up that book. I started it on Kindle Unlimited, and I've pretty much been reading both of these on Kindle Unlimited. It's just easier, and I read a lot at night, which is also why I don't have that many clips of me reading, because I really only read at night, and I didn't read that much. I read like a tiny amount every day. I'm already eating Powerless up. I love that she's a ballerina. I don't know why. That's just something that I love to read about. Also, the like best friends as kids thing, that just always does it for me. And I like Jasper's protectiveness of her. Yeah, I'm just really enjoying that. I wish it was set on, not in Chestnut Springs, but on Wishing Well Ranch. I'm kind of curious if that'll like really come into play, because that's honestly my favorite things about these books right now. I love the like family dynamic. I love the Sunday dinners. I love the grandpa. He is so funny, especially with his blowjob jokes, and he's just adorable. I love him. I don't care if he's like an old pervert or whatever Cade called him, but yeah, really, really enjoying these. So I'm excited to get into Powerless. Hello, so I am the worst booktuber of all time because I've given 0 updates, and also I'm just really struggling to get through Powerless. I finished Flawless on the last day of last month. Today is the 14th, and I have not read even 2 books. I've read 1 book this month. I literally read 10 books last month. That makes no sense. I'm really enjoying this book, but I think I'm just in a bit of a reading slump because the desire to read is just not there, even though I really am enjoying this book, and it's honestly frustrating. I'm about 70% through. Also, I'm sorry if you're so shaky. You're like literally sitting on my you're literally sitting on my knees, but because once again, I'm the worst booktuber ever, but whatever. I'm about 70% through, and my thoughts on this book are, I'm really enjoying it. I really love Sloane and Jasper, and I also really love their romance. I think I really like those like childhood, almost kind of a second chance romance vibe. I really do enjoy that. However, Jasper is like exactly how I like men that I read about to be. Like, I like that he's quiet, I like that he's moody, I like that he's broody, but also like yearns for her and is like obsessed with her. I love that. The one thing I don't love is that Sloane is so obsessed with him that she accepts the most minimal amount of attention and then is okay with it. And she knows it. Like, if she didn't know it, it would be one thing. But she constantly is thinking about how he isn't giving her anything. He won't tell her that he loves her. He won't tell her that he's been into her for a long time. Like, he just expects her to accept this little, like, these little drops that he gives her. And she does. Like, she does accept it. She will straight up tell him. I think at one point she did straight up tell him, "You're not giving me enough." And all he did was have sex with her, and she just moved on like that was enough. And that's not enough. Like, he needs to talk about his feelings with you, and I understand why he doesn't talk about his feelings. But if you're the one person that he talks about his feelings with, then he needs to talk about his feelings for you, with you, instead of like you just being his emotional support person, if that makes, I don't know. Still, I really love them together. I think they're so cute. I really love Jasper. I really love Sloane. I think they are a perfect couple, and I love seeing them together. And I'm sure by the end of this book, all of those issues that I was just talking about will be figured out. I mean, there's no way that they just move on without ever addressing these things. Aside from that, I'm really enjoying the story. The one thing I don't like about the story, which is crazy because this is like the thing pushing the story, is I don't like Beau's missing storyline. I think that is very unnecessary, and it is forcing these emotions out of Jasper, forcing Jasper back into a place of grief and remembering all of these things that have happened to him. And obviously he remembers those every day anyways, but they're like bringing them back to the surface. And I don't like how that's the thing that's doing that. I think it takes away from Sloane's storyline. I think it takes away from her grief and her overcoming the issues she has with her dad, the issues she has that led her into that relationship with Sterling. I just think it is unnecessary and takes away from Sloane's storyline, and also gives Jasper an excuse to ignore that. I think we could have forced these same emotions out of Jasper through a different storyline that involved Sloane. Just guessing here, but I'm sure that that is setting up for Beau's story, so I get it. But I just don't love... I don't love it. I think that's not the best route to take on Jasper and Sloane's story. Anyways, I am loving this book. I'm loving the friendships that they're making. I'm loving the back and forth to the city and back to Chestnut Springs. And I didn't know how Chestnut Springs or Wishing Well Ranch were going to play a huge role in this book, but they really are, and I love it. I love how Sloane is developing a friendship with Willa and Summer. I think that's so cute. I also foresee that she's going to have a friendship with Winter as well, and I think that'll be interesting. But yeah, so far I'm really loving this book. I have about an hour right now. I'm probably just going to sit down and try to finish this, and then I'll be back with some updates. Okay, so I finally finished this book, and I really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to give it like 4.25 stars. My hair looks crazy. That's okay. I think I'm going to give it 4.25 stars. I don't think it's a 4.5. I don't think it's that close to 5, but I do think it's better than Heartless, but just by a little bit. So I think 4.25 is fair. Everything I was just talking about with the things I didn't like about the book, I think they got summed up perfectly, especially this Jasper and Sloane accepting, like Sloane accepting too little from him. I think that Jasper definitely fixed that. He finally came out to like be real, be truthful, and I also really love that Sloane was willing to separate herself, to allow for that, to force that basically. That's kind of exactly what I was just complaining about, is that she doesn't have those expectations for herself, and leaving the relationship she was previously in, learning who her father is, those are the kind of expectations you need to have for yourself. Those are the kind of boundaries you need to set for yourself to avoid being in another situation like that. So I'm proud of her for that, and I loved the way that wrapped up. The ending of this book was so beautiful. I just really enjoyed how this book wrapped up. I thought it was so cute. I do wish I read this in the winter, especially with the Christmas stuff and the snow and the hockey. I think it would have been a fun, atmospheric Christmas winter read, but I didn't know, and I'm assuming the next books are going to be in the summer anyways, because we're back into spring at the end of this book. Yeah, I love this book. I loved all of the friendships, especially Winter and Sloane. That was, I mean, I kind of expected it, but I didn't expect them to actually be like best friends, and I also didn't know the next book was about Winter. So I'm super excited to see their relationship and bond grow in the next book. I think they're going to be such adorable friends, and I'm happy for Sloane because she deserves to have someone like that in her life, like her own best friend. Like her, Summer, and Willow were a cute little group, but I know how it feels to be friends with two people that are best friends, and I'm happy that Sloane has her person now. I really enjoyed this book. I love Harvey. He's so adorable. I love his relationship with Jasper, and I think we got the most out of Harvey this book that we have in any of the books, and I just really, he's just so adorable. I hate Sloane's dad. There is no redemption for him. I don't care what happens in the other books. I hate him. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. I really enjoyed this book. So I did start this book like 2 days ago, and I'm on page 4. Yeah, I'm in a bit of a book slump, and it's making me really sad because I really do enjoy these books. I'm getting very frustrated, especially because I only have 2 books left, and this video has now taken me 21 days, and that doesn't even include editing time, and I still have to finish both of these books. I'll be continuing to read this. I have no thoughts on it. I've barely started it. And yeah, that's my update. Okay, I look crazy. I just got out the shower and I'm reading, and I'm pretty pissed off because, oh my gosh, my Kindle just turned to the wrong page and I'm about to get really upset because I literally just, I think I just spoiled something. Oh my gosh. The first thing I have to say is that was weird that we just skipped over the one night stand. I'm not like obsessed with smut or anything, but like there was no reason to skip that. That was kind of crazy, and also kind of just really made me mad because even though I don't care for the smut, like if the smut is bad, that doesn't make me dislike the book. It's not like the selling point of a book for me, but he made a lot of promises that we did not get to see if he lived up to. And then on top of that, something that I do like to see in smut is the progression. So like if she's gonna get with him and stay with him, and then in the future there's gonna be smut scenes, because obviously there is. I don't like that we didn't see the first one. We didn't see how it started. We don't see what it turns into. For example, in the last book, it started very different than the loving, slow sex that they started having at the end. And that's really annoying to me. But, okay, whatever. Now, I'm reading. She's with Sloane. She's talking about how she just quit her job at the hospital and then says, oh yeah, she's talking about how she doesn't want to work with her mom and Rob anymore. And she says, I point a finger into my mouth and make a gagging noise. And doing that makes me a bit nauseous, a bit lightheaded. I swear if she's pregnant, that's going to be so annoying. That is like so unnecessary. Especially if she like doesn't know whose it is or something like that. I'm going to be so annoyed because there's no way you were fucking Rob long enough that it's even a question. And then secondly, if she just got pregnant off of this one night stand and you're a fucking doctor, that's gonna make me so mad. That's just so stupid. And same with my criticism of the second book with Willa when she got pregnant. I said this. I don't like that it's not more natural, that they don't make these decisions for themselves without that thing in the middle of it driving their decisions. And if that happens with this book, if that's the reason her and Theo get together, which will be even worse because they have no relationship outside of this, I'll be really annoyed, to be honest, and this book will not it probably won't be that good. I am 17% of the way through. Honestly, I feel like nothing has happened. I feel like that's a lot to have read for like no reason. And then all the things that have happened have just been skipped over. So the sex scene, her relationship with Sloane building up, like it literally just skipped a few weeks. And I know we saw that in the last book, but this is her book. Like we need to see her emotions, her feelings, her side of it. Just out of nowhere, she's best friends with Sloane. And then we also don't know what's been going on with her and Summer throughout that time. Like, I think it's a little bit far in this book to have like no like plot yet, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, those are my thoughts. What the fuck? What the fuck? 18 months later? Thanks for letting me know. What is happening? This is very unexpected. I don't get what's going on. That couldn't have been his number. That had to have been someone else's number or something. What the I don't get it. I literally don't get it. I finally finished Reckless. I think I'm giving it like 3.5 stars. I didn't love it. I also didn't hate it. I actually really enjoyed Winter and Theo's relationship and just them as people. I didn't love how this story was told. I definitely expressed that in the beginning. I didn't like the fact that she got pregnant off a one-night stand as a doctor. I didn't like the fact that we skipped over the one-night stand, and I didn't like that we skipped 18 months. I just didn't enjoy that. I think that really took a lot away from this book. And really the only reason this book has the rating that it has is because I liked Theo and Winter and Peter. No, but seriously, the only reason this book has the rating it has is because I liked Theo and Winter. I really didn't love much else about this book. Of course, Peter and Vivi, they were a good part of this book. Like, I enjoyed this little family aspect, Theo's mom, everything. I enjoyed the family aspects of this book, but I just feel like this book, especially compared to Powerless, which I really loved, and Heartless, which I liked even more, this one was just lacking a lot. And I really truly feel like it has a lot to do with that 18 months that we didn't see. So like, I could have got past the pregnancy trope, I could have got past the miscommunication thing, but I can't get past that 18 months that we missed. And part of the reason why is because these books are so good because of the family dynamic, because of Chestnut Springs, because of Wishing Well Ranch. In the first 20% of this book, Winter and Summer are developing a relationship. Winter and Theo have their night. And then Winter and Sloane are having a very interesting dynamic going on. And then at 20%, we just skip 18 months. And then when we pick back up, we barely even get insight into that 18 months. We barely get insight into her and Summer's relationship progression through that time. And honestly, truthfully, it seems like it didn't progress at all. It seems like that whole storyline just stood still until it picked back up 18 months later when we were into it. And it just feels so unnatural. Even the Sloane relationship, which I was really excited about, it wasn't even in there. Like, after 20%, it just kind of ends. There's no more of that besides like text every once in a while. You would expect like Sloane to really be there in Winter's life, especially during a time like this when Sloane kind of knows what it's like to go through something similar. Sorry, I have a lot to say. It didn't even include Wishing Well Ranch that much or anything like that. Like, the fact that she just had a baby, a daughter at that, could have made room for her and Willa to become really close friends, and we could have had more of that. And these are things that could have happened during that 18 months when he wasn't around. So I just feel like we were missing a lot of what makes this series great from this book. I just don't feel like you can really make up for that just through their relationship, which, by the way, also was driven by this pregnancy and this baby. And I don't really love when that is the driving force in a relationship. I will say they were cute together. I am happy that we finally got that night at the end, but even then it just still didn't make sense that we didn't get it in the beginning. There really was no reason for that. I guess I was expecting to get to that point in the book where they finally dive into that and that there would be a reason that we didn't see it in the first place, but there really wasn't. Anyways, I'm excited to get into Hopeful. I will say, before I even go into this, I'm not liking Bo. I feel bad for him. I was excited for his book because I really like the golden retriever energy. But now that he's not giving that, and we also don't really know him besides like 1 or 2 scenes in the first book, it's not like something I'm too excited to get into. I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm sure it'll be good. I have officially, finally finished the Chestnut Springs series. This has been a very long video to make. I expected and gave myself a week to read this whole series, and I failed at that miserably. Today's the 25th, and I finished the last book, Hopeless, last night on the 24th. And I started this video literally on like the last day of last month. So basically this took me like 25 or 26 days to read these 5 books. I don't know what happened. I am very much positive I'm in some sort of like slight reading slump. I'm still reading, just not at the pace that I usually do. Anyways, I've talked about this a ton in this video, so let's just talk about my thoughts on these books. First, I'm gonna talk about Hopeless, which I just finished. To be honest, I loved this book, and that might be surprising considering the fact that I like had nothing nice to say about some of these books. I have very little criticism of this book, honestly, if any. I love Bo Eaton. I love Bailey Jansen, or Bailey Eaton, I guess. Yeah, this was just such a good book. My one criticism of this book is that the sex, the sexual tension, the sexual desires, the sexual way of viewing each other seemed a bit much. Like, it almost seemed like their entire perception of each other, specifically from Bo's perspective, was almost all sex and protection. Like, that was like all he viewed as his desires to her, if that makes sense. Like, he only wanted to have sex with her and protect her. And I don't have too much of a problem with that. I just think that overpowered this book a little bit more than it should have. But that's really my biggest criticism. I think something like that was downplaying some of his traumas, his PTSD, just his story. I think that the sex, and not even just the sex, also just the romance, kind of downplayed his story. I think we did get Bailey's story and her issues and her progress in a much fuller way than we received Bo's, especially for the lead up to Bo's story. I mean, two of the whole previous books were like leading up to this and him. And it was a lot less of his story, what he went through, how he got over it, than it should have been. It almost was swept under the rug in I just have a new project, I have a new thing to take care of, I have a new thing to look at and have sex with, and that kind of just took over his whole trauma. And realistically, that's just not realistic. The man needs help, he needs therapy, he needs whatever. Either way, I love this book. I loved Bo and Bailey together. I love a protective man. I love the ways he went above and beyond to take care of her. And I also love how he tried to do it in a way where she wasn't actually aware. And I know that was very messed up to catch her off guard with him owning the bar and stuff like that. But I actually do like that he didn't tell her, because if it wouldn't have come to a point where he had to tell her like that, then I just think in general that would have been a very cute thing, that the fact that he was taking care of her in more ways than she even knew. Anyways, I really loved this book. I really loved Bo and Bailey together. I loved the fake dating. I loved the age gap. I loved the way the town treated her and her brothers. I loved the fact that they had to go in front of the whole Eaton family and continue pretending. I think all of that came together very well, along with his PTSD and nightmares and stuff. I think all of those things came together really well to make for like the perfect amount of tension and longing and wanting, because they were doing these things where they were having to express care for each other and they were trying to keep it in a respectful way, but then sometimes they had to cross those lines, and then sometimes those lines were like non-existent. I just really liked how it all came together. I really enjoyed this book. I did give it 4.5 stars. I don't think it was a 5-star. I have some criticisms of this book, and to me, that's like a pretty big reason for it not to be a 5-star. So 4.5 it is for me. And as a whole, I think this series is like a 4-star series. Like, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed how it all came together, and I just love Chestnut Springs and Wishing Well Ranch and just this whole family and this world that they built together. And I love being a part of it, and I loved being involved in it, but I am happy to step away from it. And I don't really know if I'm going to be continuing with Elsie Silver books. They were good. They were honestly really good. 4 stars is a great rating for an entire series. But I do think that I specifically love These People and Wishing Well Ranch. I don't think I want to get into, I think the next book is about Willa's brother. I don't really have any interest in that. I don't think I want to get into that. Maybe one day I will. Maybe one day I'll just be really feeling another cowboy romance or whatever these are called. And maybe I'll jump into that, because for what I was looking for, I think these were very good. And overall, I had a good time. This was a very good time. But again, like I said, I'm happy to be out of it. I'm happy to be done with it. I love these characters. I love all of them, even the ones that in their own books I might not have loved. I loved them as they all came together and as like a whole, what do they call it, the Eaton crew. Like, I did enjoy that. I really did. Yeah, those are my thoughts. I had a good time. I do think this series is a little bit overrated, if I'm being honest. I don't think it's everything that people make it up to be. Yeah, regardless, a good time. I think you could sum these up as like a good, entertaining series, but it just has a lot of smut, a lot of tropes, a lot of like obvious endings, I guess. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed my takes. If you disagree with them, let me know. I'm curious to know your thoughts. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.